boys and girls. How are you doing? I hope you're fine and that you're enjoying school, especially class 4. Class 4, wave at me. My name is Teacher Susan. I'm a class 4 teacher, and I know class 4 you have been home. So I hope now you've gotten used to waking up early and going to school, and that my prayer is that God will keep you safe and that you will enjoy yourself in school. So welcome to today's lesson. Today, we're going to learn about how God sends us help in our time of need. Now, boys and girls, have you ever been in a difficult situation? You know, maybe you have lost a loved one. Maybe one of your parents or your auntie or your grandparents has passed away due to COVID. Or because of this COVID, one of your parents has lost their jobs and you're wondering, how will my school fees be paid now that my parent doesn't have a job and they're the one who usually pays for me? Or maybe something smaller, you and your best friend are not talking to each other, you did something bad to your best friend and you don't know what to do to make things right. Or it could be that you're not doing well in school. You're finding the subjects hard. I know some of you have gone to a new class and you could be finding the subjects so hard. You know, what do you do? All right? Maybe you look like this boy over here. Lord, what do I do? Remember all those difficult situations I've talked about? And you're asking yourself like this boy, Lord, what do I do? All right? You don't know what to do. Now, the Bible tells us in James chapter 1 verse 5 that if any one of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without finding fault, and it will be given to you. So what is the Bible telling us? That if you lack wisdom, you don't know what to do, you don't know how to pray, you can ask God because He gives wisdom to all who ask, okay? And He gives generously. Imagine, He gives it generously. If you need wisdom and you ask God, what do I do? God will help you know what to do. He will give you the wisdom to know what to do. And He does it generously. Verse 6 of chapter 1 of James tells us that we should not doubt, but we should believe that when we ask God for wisdom, He will give us that wisdom. All right? Now, today we are going to learn in our Bibles about a lady who was in a lot of trouble. And she really needed God's wisdom, and she needed God to help her. Now, this story begins, it's about the Israelites. Now, you remember Joseph, the slave, the brother who was sold as a slave, and how his family at one point all came to Egypt? Now, Joseph and his brothers died, but their descendants, their children and their children's children, were left in Egypt. And when they were in Egypt, they multiplied in number. They became so many. Now, a king who did not know about Joseph and what Joseph had done for Egypt, he came up, okay? A new Pharaoh came up, and he didn't know anything about Joseph. And he thought to himself, maybe he was thinking like this cartoon character. Hey, these Israelites, they have become so many. What do I do? You know, maybe if our enemies attack us, maybe these Israelites will join up with them and fight against us, and we shall surely lose. Then after they fight, they will leave. So Pharaoh wondered to himself, what do I do? Do you know, he came up with an idea. He said, aha, this is what I will do. Now let's look and see whether his ideas came from asking God for wisdom. Because when we don't know what to do, we said what? We ask God to give us wisdom. Let's see. Let's look at Pharaoh's ideas and see whether he asked God for wisdom. Now, the first idea Pharaoh had was to make the Israelites slaves. Where? And he put slave masters over them who dealt with them ruthlessly. The Bible says they dealt with them ruthlessly, meaning they were cruel. You know, you can see this slave over here, this Israelite slave. Maybe he's tired. He can't work anymore. But this Egyptian is holding a whip over him and telling him, stand up and do your work. And if you don't, I'm going to whip you. And it was really painful. So Pharaoh dealt with the Israelites ruthlessly. He made them slaves. Do you think his idea worked? That stopped the Israelites from increasing in number? Do you know the Bible tells us in Exodus chapter 1 verse 12 that this idea did not work, and instead, the more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied and spread. What? So Pharaoh had another idea. Why don't I kill all the baby boys? Maybe that will help the men not to increase in number. So he called 2 women. They were midwives, and their names were Shifira and Pua. And he told them, you women, when you're going to help the Hebrew women to give birth, if you see a baby boy, you are to put him to death immediately. So did these women listen to Pharaoh? Remember, Pharaoh is like the president of the land. But the Bible tells us in Exodus 1:17, these women feared God. And so they refused to listen to Pharaoh, and they refused to put to death any of the baby boys. So finally, Pharaoh had another idea. Do you think at this point, do you think his ideas were coming from God? No, because he was murdering and doing and mistreating others. That cannot be from God. So, the third idea he had, he threw all the baby boys in the river Nile. Okay? He told his soldiers, he told his people, if you see a baby boy, you are to arrest him and throw him in the river Nile. All right? So the baby girls were safe, but the baby boys were to be thrown in the river Nile. How cruel. Can you imagine snatching a baby from its mother and throwing it into the river? And of course, that baby doesn't know how to swim, and the baby would die immediately. Oh no. Now, there was a certain lady called Jochebed. She had just given birth to a son, and she really did not want this son to die. So she hid him for 3 months. For how many months, boys and girls? 3 months. She was able to hide him. Maybe she used to hide him under the bed, behind the seat, anywhere that the soldiers would not find him. But after the 3rd month, she realized, well, this baby might make noise one day when the soldiers come searching, and he will be killed. He'll be thrown into the river Nile. So she prayed to God. Remember we said when you don't have wisdom, James chapter 1 verse 5, you ask God for wisdom and he gives it generously. So she asked God for wisdom. What do I do, God? And maybe she prayed this prayer found in Psalms chapter 30 verse 10. Lord, help me. Lord, hear me. Show me your favor. Lord, help me. She must have prayed that prayer. And do you know what, boys and girls? It reminds me of a song that we sing, that Jesus knows all about our struggles. Do you know that song? Maybe we can sing it a little. Jesus knows all about our struggles. He will guide till the day is done. There's not a friend like the lowly Jesus. No, not one. No, not one. Amen. And do you know what, boys and girls? The Lord gave Jochebed an idea. She thought to herself, if I make a basket and I coat it with tar and pitch to make it waterproof and to help it to float, I can put my baby in this basket and then put him in the reeds at the river Nile. Wasn't that a clever idea? It would be the last place the soldiers would look for a baby, because they were busy using the river Nile to kill the baby boys by drowning them there. So she hid her baby right under the soldiers' noses, and she told the sister, Miriam, the sister to the baby was called Miriam. Miriam, stay here and look out for your baby brother. Call me in case of anything. Wasn't that a brilliant idea? And Jochebed, the name of the mother, must have said, oh God, please help my baby. Like we said in Psalms chapter 30 verse 10, Lord, help me. Don't let any harm come to my baby when he's at the river Nile. And God heard her prayer. One day, the princess who was Pharaoh's daughter, came for her bath. On the same day, actually, not even one day. And she saw the basket hidden behind the reeds. And she told her servant girls, go for that basket. What is in it? And when she opened it, she saw a baby boy crying. And she felt sorry for this baby. And then Miriam went to her and said, by the way, can I get you someone to breastfeed this baby? Because then the princess realized this must be one of the Hebrew boys, and he has been put here so that he cannot be put to death. So she told Miriam, what a good idea. Yes, we'll get someone for me to nurse this baby. So do you know what Miriam did? She went and got her mommy. And her mommy came running, and the princess told her, take this baby, nurse him for me. Nursing is to breastfeed, and I will pay you. Wow! She wasn't even expecting to be paid. She had prayed to God to rescue and save her baby. But on top of that, God even adds her money. Isn't God generous when he answers our prayers? And so Jochebed went home with her baby, and she was able to nurse him. When the baby grew older, she took him back to the princess that he may live in the palace. And so God made a way for Jochebed to take care of her baby. The soldiers could not ask her anything because now she could say, don't ask me, this is Pharaoh's, this is the princess's son. So you can't ask me, you can't take away my baby. So God protected Jochebed's baby. And the princess called this baby, when the baby was taken to the princess, she called him Moses because she drew him out of water. Isn't that an amazing story, boys and girls? It's telling us that God gives us, when we need help, what does God do? He gives us wisdom. Like we saw in James chapter 1, verse 5. And then he also listens to our prayers for help. Psalms 30, verse 10, it says, God, hear me, save me and help me. I'm paraphrasing, I'm not saying it exactly the way it is. But if you need wisdom, you can actually pray those words that are found in the Bible. So may the Lord be with you, boys and girls. Anytime you need help, remember how God helped Jochebed, and he can help you too. Amen.
Hello children, today we're going to be doing the craft work, and my name is Noel. Today I'll be helping with the craft work. So today we're going to be doing something called the Moses box. For first, you need a marker, glue, scissors, and a box. So I've already set up my box. Also, you could be needing these pictures for setting up if you want to make your box look, if you want to design your box in any kind. Also, I will be putting this on the front of the box for if you also want to do the same. So, I already set up my box, and here's the box. There are 3 spaces, and they're all for 3 things. The first part of the box shows prayer requests. If you want to ask God for anything, and you already finished praying, you can put your prayer request in papers over here. For the second part, you can tell about what you're thankful for. Like if you're thankful for your parents or your family, you can put those papers over here. And then, for example, if your prayer requests have been answered, you can put them in the answered prayer. So, also you want to maybe also take a particular kind of paper, then put it at the bottom of your box. And also you might need to cut a part of another kind of box to use for dividers. And then after done, if you want to, if you have any pictures, you can stick on top like the way I'm doing right now. There's a picture of Goliath, and here's another picture of baby Moses, and another picture of Moses' mother. So also, I can also stick this part over here as what I did. Here, God hears me and answers my prayers. So that will be the craft work for today. Thank you.
Wow, thank you, Noel. I can see you stacked pictures of baby Moses, David and Goliath, and Jochebed. What do those pictures mean to you?
These pictures mean that the way God helped David fight Goliath, the way that God still kept him safe, the way that God still kept him safe, the way that God kept David safe from battling Goliath. This one also symbolizes the same way that God kept Moses safe and someone eventually found him. And also for Moses' mother, it also symbolizes that God kept her calm and not angry that her baby is now with Egyptians.
And God answered her prayer to keep her baby
Safe.
Nice. And so what is in front of your box? What have you stuck there?
I have stuck here saying,
God hears me and answers my prayers.
Wow, nice. So boys and girls, can you see? You can make your own Moses box, a place for you to put in your prayers when you're going through a difficult time. You can put in your prayers, and like Noel has shown you, when God answers those prayers, you can move them to the third space in the box. And also in the box, you have a place to keep thanking God. Every day, think of something you can thank God for and put it in the middle space of that box. Thank you so much, Noel.
bye everyone.